3 weeks before my best friend died, he received a text message from his own phone number. The message contained the exact date, time, and location of his death. My name is Marcus Webb, and I'm about to tell you about the most terrifying phenomenon that has been happening across America for the past 2 years. A phenomenon the authorities refuse to acknowledge. It started in March of 2023 in Seattle, Washington. My best friend since childhood, Chen, was 28 years old, working as a software engineer and planning his wedding to his fiancée, Amy. He was the healthiest guy I knew. He ran marathons, didn't smoke, barely drank. He had his whole life ahead of him. On March 5th, Tyler called me at 11 o'clock at night, which was unusual. His voice was shaking. He told me something impossible had just happened. He'd received a text message from his own phone number. Not a similar number, not a spoof number, but his actual number texting itself. The message read, Chen, March 26th, 4:32 p.m., corner of Pine Street and 5th Avenue. Cardiac arrest, I'm sorry. I told him it was obviously some kind of sick prank, a hacker, or a glitch. We laughed about it nervously. Tyler took a screenshot and posted it online, asking if anyone knew how this could happen technically. A few people responded saying it was probably a spoofing app or someone messing with him. We both tried to forget about it, but Tyler couldn't shake it. Over the next 3 weeks, he became obsessed. He went to his doctor and got a complete cardiac workup. Everything came back perfect. His heart was completely healthy. He started avoiding that intersection of Pine Street and 5th Avenue, taking different routes to work, staying away from downtown entirely. On March 26th, I called Tyler around 2 in the afternoon to check on him. He sounded relieved. He'd taken the day off work and was staying home with Amy. He said there was no way he'd be anywhere near that intersection. We made plans to meet for dinner that evening to celebrate him proving the message wrong. At 4:15, Amy's mother called her. She'd fallen at her house across town and thought she'd broken her hip. Amy panicked and asked Tyler to drive her to her mother's place immediately. Tyler hesitated, but his future mother-in-law was in pain and crying on the phone. He agreed. The fastest route to her mother's house went directly through downtown. Tyler tried to take side streets, but there was construction everywhere that day. Traffic was backed up. At exactly 4:28, Tyler's car was stopped at a red light at the corner of Pine Street and 5th Avenue. According to the police report and witness statements, at 4:32 p.m., Tyler suddenly clutched his chest. He tried to say something to Amy but couldn't get the words out. His eyes went wide with terror. Amy screamed for help. A nurse who happened to be in the car behind them ran up and started CPR immediately. An ambulance arrived within 5 minutes. Tyler was pronounced dead at the hospital at 5:07 p.m. The cause of death was a massive cardiac arrest caused by an undetected congenital heart defect that the doctors had somehow missed. A defect so rare that it occurs in less than 1 in 100,000 people. I was destroyed, we all were. But it got worse. At Tyler's funeral, his cousin Jennifer pulled me aside. She was crying and showed me her phone. She'd received a text message that morning from her own number. It read, Jennifer Huang, April 15th, 10:23 a.m. Interstate 5 southbound. Car accident. I'm so sorry. I felt my blood run cold. I begged her to take it seriously, to stay home on April 15th, to not drive anywhere. She promised me she would. Jennifer lasted until April 14th. Then her boss called and said if she didn't come to an important meeting the next morning in Portland, she'd lose her job. She was a single mother with 2 kids. She couldn't afford to lose her income. She decided to risk it. I called her at 6 a.m. on April 15th, begging her not to go. She said she'd be careful, that she'd take back roads, avoid the interstate completely. But there was a chemical spill on the main highway that morning. All traffic was being diverted onto Interstate 5. At 10:21 a.m., Jennifer merged onto Interstate 5 southbound. At 10:23 a.m., a truck driver fell asleep at the wheel and crossed the median. He hit Jennifer's car head-on. She died instantly along with 2 other people. I went to the police after Jennifer's death. I showed them everything. The screenshots of the messages, Tyler's death, Jennifer's death, they looked at me like I was insane. They said it was a coincidence that people can't predict their own deaths, that the messages were a cruel prank and nothing more. But I started researching online. One found dozens of cases. A woman in Ohio named Patricia Moore received a message predicting her death in a house fire. 3 weeks later, an electrical fault burned down her apartment building while she slept. A man in Texas named Robert Sullivan got a message about drowning. He avoided water for a month, then slipped in his bathroom, hit his head, and drowned in 3 inches of water in his bathtub. Every single person who received these messages died exactly as predicted. The date was always perfect. The time was always within 2 minutes. The location and cause of death were always accurate. It didn't matter what they did to try to avoid it. Fate, or whatever was sending these messages, always found a way. The online community I found called themselves The Warned. There were over 200 members when I joined. People from all over the country who'd either received a message themselves or knew someone who had. We tried everything to help people survive past their predicted date. We had some people go into hiding, check into hospitals under fake names, even leave the country. Nothing worked. Every single person died exactly as the message predicted. Then in August, a woman in our group named Linda Ramirez received her message. But Linda was a physicist and she had a theory. She believed the messages were coming from outside our normal timeline, that somehow information about our deaths was leaking backward through time. She thought if she could create a paradox, if she could change something fundamental about herself before her death date, she might survive. Linda's message said she'd die in a car accident on August 19th. So on August 10th, Linda donated her car and never got in a vehicle again. She took medical leave from work. She shaved her head. She legally changed her name. She did everything she could to become a different person than the one the message had predicted would die. On August 19th, Linda was walking to a grocery store 3 blocks from her apartment. A car jumped the curb at exactly the time predicted in her message. The driver had a seizure. Linda died on the sidewalk. I'm telling you this story because yesterday at 3:47 a.m. I received a text message from my own phone number. It says, Marcus Webb, December 30th, 7:15 p.m. Home address. Unknown cause. I'm so sorry. I have 18 days left. I've tried everything I learned from the Warned community. I've seen doctors, I've made preparations. I've said goodbye to everyone I love without telling them why. And I know, deep in my soul, that nothing I do will matter. These messages are real. They're happening all over the country, maybe all over the world. And the terrifying truth is that once you receive one, your fate is sealed. You can't run from it, you can't hide from it. You can't change it. If you ever receive a text message from your own phone number, if you ever see your name followed by a date and a cause of death, know that you're already gone. The universe has already decided. Your death has already happened somewhere in time, and the information is just catching up to you. I'm sharing this story now while I still can, because someone needs to document this. Someone needs to warn people. The authorities won't help. They'll call you crazy. But if this happens to you, at least you'll know you're not alone. 17 days from now, I'll be dead. And somewhere, someone else will receive a message from themselves and the cycle will continue.